Hi, welcome to Advantage Horsemanship TV. On today's show, we're going to be talking about overcoming obstacles for JPR. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Scott Purdom here. I'd like to explain the Bitless Halter. It's got many great features, from a thin, stiff rope that gets horses off of pressure quickly and easily. It has a twisted pole piece that does the same thing. The snap, once you size it once to your horse, it makes it easier for you to take on and off. But the piece that really makes this product set apart from others is the strap that goes underneath the chin. What this does when you tie the reins to it, it works as leverage, pulls down over the top part of the nose, works exactly like a bit does. So if you want to go bitless, this is the tool for you. Well, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about overcoming obstacles for JPR. You know, and it's really important when you're doing obstacles that you really prepare at home first. I see so many times that people go out for a JPR or an ACTA Judge Pleasure Trail ride, and what ends up happening is they haven't really done a lot of preparation. It's kind of a glorified trail ride to some. And what you really want to do, if you want to be in it to kind of win it or at least do well, you need to make sure that you do your homework at home first. You're never going to always know what obstacles that you might face, but you need to make sure that your horse is ready and prepared for anything that might come your way. And you also need to make sure that that horse really trusts you to be able to go through or go over any obstacle or even pick up any obstacle that you might come across. So I'm going to start out a little bit on the ground today just to kind of show you what obstacles you might need to encounter, or you might encounter, and what obstacles you need to get your horse over. I've got a lot of obstacles behind me. We just actually got done one of our indoor obstacle clinics, which is really great, especially during the winter time. Come on out here and get your horse kind of at least riding again, get in the over the obstacles and so forth. So I've left the obstacles up to be able to film today, and I wanted to show you on this with this horse Piper that actually just came into training, and show you a little bit about how to get over obstacles. This horse is not truly afraid or very spooky all the time. Sometimes comes into a place that she doesn't want to get over something and or go through something, and today I want to show you how to go through it. I really recommend don't start out with a very spooky horse when you're doing this. Start out with a horse that you can trust a little bit and build your confidence as well. If you're going to start out with a spooky horse, do one thing at a time. Don't try and overrun the horse. And if you do too many obstacles, one of the things I find is that you kind of really overwork the horse on obstacles, and you find a lot of other issues that arise, and they kind of just get done with going over obstacles. So today I'm going to show you a couple of these obstacles. First one we're going to start with is making sure that you can get over a tarp. The tarp is kind of a very widely used obstacle. Some horses really can't stand it. This horse really isn't that afraid of the tarp. I'm going to show you how to use the tarp both when it's just on the ground and then something you can also pick up here. One of the things that you want to make sure when you're asking this horse to go over a tarp, if you're on the ground, make sure to get the horse away from you and going over the tarp on its own. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to try and bring the horse right up to the tarp and make him follow you for a couple of reasons. One reason is because if the horse is truly afraid of the tarp, what he might actually do is, once he hits that tarp, jump on top of you. So you want to make sure that you're in a kind of a clear, safe distance away from the horse. And also, the reason you're on the ground now is a safe place to start. So when you're trying to get him over it, and he's right up next to you, like this, you're a visual to the horse, and it's not really that scary. But when you go to get on, two becomes one, and the horse has to get over the obstacle on their own. Okay? So you want to make sure that you actually get that horse to go over the tarp, but away from you at the same time. So I might just kind of start a lunging circle and ask that horse to get far away from me, just like this. And I want to get that horse to really just investigate the tarp or investigate anything that he's afraid of. Obviously, she's not that fearful of the tarp. But if she was, I want her to look at it and investigate it. Horses have a great sense of curiosity, and when they're curious about something, they will go towards it. Now, again, this horse has already kind of overcome the tarp before and is not too afraid, which is great. So we always want to reward the fact that she's trying here. Give her some affection. Again, these are all things you want to do before you get on them. And even if you are on the horse already, so say you're at the judge pleasure ride, you generally are only able to go over something in a very short timed, it's kind of a short timed event, each obstacle. So you generally only have like 60 seconds to get over each obstacle. At least the ones that I've judged are about 60 seconds. Now, with that being said, don't put yourself in danger. If you feel that that horse is truly afraid of something, don't be one of those people that are heroic and need to try and ride through anything that happens. If the horse bucks or takes off or jumps over it, if you are unsure of your safety, it is very good for you just to get off and do it on the ground. If you run out of time, ask the judge if you can at least take 10 seconds to try and get your horse to look at it on the ground, have them be a little bit safer before you move on. So, that being said, one other thing, this is a really great thing to do with horses, and she did have a little bit of issue with this. She's been in training for a couple of days now, and she had a little bit of issue with the tarp when it'd be up next to her. So I'll show you what we did to kind of get her over the tarp as far as it being all around her. Because some obstacles you have to be able to go next to, beside, and some of them, they have really weird obstacles. You know, one of those used car salesmen blow up things that move all over the place, and they have to be okay with things that are kind of flying next to them. So one of the things that I'll do is I'll kind of get the horse in a lunging circle again. In a lunging circle again, and while they're moving forward, I'll start just kind of throwing this at them all over them. I'll keep them close to me, where I'll get the horse just very comfortable. There we go. Just like this. Now notice, look, on her own, she wants to stop. She wants to relax. Just like this. Very good. The more you try and bring stuff to them, they'll start to learn all you need to do is just relax, and all the pressure will go away. There's no need for you to fight, no need for you. There, good. Now that was, again, all on her own. Excellent. So the more you can kind of move all this stuff around them, throw it over them, let them kind of get used to it moving all around, the better you can be before you actually get on. Very good. Very good. So we're going to move on here. Let's go to another obstacle. These tires are one that I can kind of just get the horse guiding through, going over things, in between things. Really great here. She's wanting to look at that tire. She's got to kind of figure her feet out. That wasn't great right there. Let's try that again. Figure her feet out, where she has to go to get in between them. Good. I want her to do this all nice and relaxed. This is really important that she doesn't do this quickly. She does it relaxed. And if your horse starts getting a real big attitude over something, one thing you can do is take your horse away from the obstacle, get your horse's mind in a calm, relaxed state of mind, and then come back to it. Doesn't mean the horse will be perfect going over things after that, but what'll happen is it'll make it a lot easier for the horse to listen to you. There we go. Good. We're going to come over this bridge here. See how she does crossing over a bridge. Make sure she's guiding nice and straight. Excellent. Good girl. We're going to come up here. Now this is the next obstacle I wanted to talk about, how to be able to get horses over things that you have to stand up and come up next to. Some horses have a real big problem when you come up to something like a mailbox or something you have to pick up. They have a real big problem of standing still beside it, and they can get kind of nervous beside it. So what I like to do is I first like them to investigate a little bit like she's doing here. Okay? We're going to give her all the time in the world when she wants to look at it as she moves it around. Okay, don't push it over there. Good girl. And what I want her to do, I want her to be able to trust in anything that I ask her to do, go by anything that I ask her to. Now she's taken to this all very, very well, and I like that. Now I want her to get used to coming up to the mailbox. Now most of the time when people are trying to get a horse over something that they know that eventually they need to be able to stand beside, when they ever do groundwork, here's what they most of the time do. They pull the horse up to the mailbox and they let the horse sniff it. And as they let the horse sniff it, the horse gets over the mailbox or anything that they're trying to get up to, gets over it around their head. But they don't get over it back here for when you're supposed to be trying to lean down and grab something. So if you've only desensitized their nose, you haven't desensitized them to standing relaxed by where the saddle is. So it's really important that you get the horse to be able to come up and stand next to. So let me show you how I would do that. I might ask the horse to come forward around in this circle, and then I'm going to drop all my pressure right here. I might try and just rub the horse. I like it when they want to stop on their own. I don't want to try and force her to stop. I want to relax my energy, and I want her to stop on her own beside it. Okay, she's not fully beside it just yet. She's closer to it. I'm going to let her see from the side here this mailbox coming down, opening up. I'm going to ask her to come forward again. I'm not going to stop her, but I'm just going to rub her here. That's better. Here I could probably reach the mailbox, no problem, from when I'm on her. Just desensitize her, let her get used to that. Last couple things here before we move down farther down there is we're going to come over to the pool here. This is one of the most difficult obstacles, and you're not always going to see a pool like this, but there are a lot of obstacles that are very, very small, and you have to be able to get the horse to get on top of that obstacle. Sometimes you have to turn the horse around in a very small, close-knit area. And this one can be very difficult because horses kind of say to themselves, well, why the heck would I go through it when I can just go around it? So what I want to do is I want to get that horse to just come up here, investigate. Well, you're just making this look easy, aren't you? All right, I know what obstacle is going to get you soon. Excellent. Awesome, very good. Let her just kind of investigate, and that's fine. She wants to stand in here, sniff on it. That's great. She's kind of making it look a little easier than some do. But I also warn you, when you're doing this, you want to do this with ease. You want to make it, see, you're being judged on this. It's not just about getting over an obstacle, it's about getting over it with ease, without a lot of hard work to be able to get the horse to listen to you. You want to make sure that you can try and do this. Uh-oh, we're stuck. What are we going to do? I didn't like that. Came into me a little bit there. You want to make sure that you can do this without having to really pull tight on the bridle. Thank you. Good girl. You want to make sure that everything just looks easy, because that's when you're going to get a high score and a good placement in a JPR. All right, very good. All right, now we're going to go ahead and get her started on this obstacle. This is one that I know she has a little bit of an issue on, and it's going to be able to show you all how to get through the obstacle on the ground first, and then we're going to talk about it under saddle. So here we go. One thing when I'm starting to try and get her to her, it's kind of like run through a wall, and it's very difficult for her to feel like, there's a wall here, why would I push through it? I want her to be able to trust in anything that I ask her to do. I want her to be able to feel that just because there's a wall there, if I'm pushing you, you need to trust that you can actually go through it. So the whole goal is for her in this case is to kind of find a hole, find a gap. And what I want her to do is look for that gap and then be able to kind of push through it. That'll really help build her confidence, because that's what this really is all about, is building confidence. So I'm going to push her forward here, and I'm going to push until she actually looks at the obstacle. When she's looking at the obstacle, like here, she's trying to look through there, she's pushing, there's a hole right through there. When she's looking at it, just let her look. When she stops looking at it is when I'm going to start putting pressure on her again. Letting her look. Excellent. Putting pressure because she's not looking at it anymore. Remember, pressure when she's not looking. Take all pressure away when she is looking. Now, I don't want her coming into me. I want her staying away. Now, if I have a big problem with this, we do want to build their confidence. We want to show them that it's not going to be harmful. So here's what I might do. I might just kind of give her a little hole to look for. And I might let her push, or I might push her to build her confidence here with that hole. I don't want to fight her if I can help it. Now she's trying to think about avoiding this whole thing altogether. I'm going to keep my energy at a relaxed pace here. So I'm just going to keep putting pressure. She's starting to get a little nervous about things. Don't come into me. I didn't like that. There we go. She's got to learn that it's not going to harm her. I just want her to build her confidence for me here. I've got a pretty decent sized hole in here for her to go through. Now some might say this is cheating, but I'll show you how this works. I'll show you how this works with time here. I've now got her to go through it one time. I want her to know, hey, that was a good girl. That was exactly what we wanted. With time, I'm going to build your confidence by closing that gap. So now I know that two panels here was enough of a gap to get her to go through the first time. I want her to build that confidence. Now, one thing that's really important that you do when you're doing the groundwork for this is that when she does go through, don't hold really tight on the line attached to her face. Let that kind of slide through your hands as she goes through. Notice there I'm letting go of the tarp as well, so it hits her on the way out. That way she starts to get used to the tarp as she goes through it. You don't have to have that big of a reaction. So she's still very unsure. I am going to close the gap just a little bit, see if I can't do that yet. She's still unsure about the whole thing. Open it just a little bit more. But now she's trying to avoid. Now the attitude's going to kick in right here. This mare has a little bit of attitude when she doesn't want to do something. I don't know where you're running to there, honey. There's another one right down there. She's giving me a little bit of try. She's not giving me enough try because she's not trying to figure out what this is. She's just trying to run through it. But I need her to be responsive enough to at least give it a good hearty shot here for me. She's still running through way too quickly. So this might just take a couple of minutes. What needs to happen as we're building her confidence, she needs to know that was a little better. She needs to know that these close on her and that it's not something she needs to worry about quite so much. I'm going to get this just a little bit better. And I'm going to and we're just going to do it enough. We just need to do it enough to build that confidence. This has got to start to get a little bit better. I'm going to start to demand for a little bit more try out of her because she is trying, but she's kind of avoiding. And sometimes this is what people get faced with at home. Now right there, she decided she wanted to rear up and get very assertive with me. And I've got news for her that that's not going to be allowed. Now, there's a difference when a horse rears up like that. There's a difference in their rears. If they rear up and they're trying to back away from you, it's not really aggressive or assertive or dominance on their part. A lot of times what it is just an option. Some options could be run left, run right, or run forward or run back, but that option, rearing up, sometimes happens as well. Now, when they rear up and kind of strike out like she did, I kind of consider that kind of an aggression act. So what I did was just picked up the energy and said, you know what? I don't like that. I don't appreciate that. Please get away from me and don't make yourself dangerous like that again. Now, if she wants to get that big of an attitude, I'm going to step a little bit more away from her here. I'll step a little bit more away from her, so if she tries to do that again, I'm at a little safer distance. Because this attitude is unacceptable. So now I'm going to get after her and make her do it a little bit more without me there to help her, because now she's kind of awarded herself with that attitude. She's awarded herself not my help, because she kind of made it a little bit dangerous. I know it's hard to imagine a woman with attitude, but I think we've got one right here. It's okay for me saying jokes like that because I'm on this end of the camera. So I'm going to start making her going to have to work through it. She's going to have to figure it out now on her own because she decided that she didn't want my help anymore. There you go. All this attitude really is just, that was a good try, good thought. She knows what we want now. She really does. Whew. Getting strong on me there, honey. Whew, that was tough, huh? What a rough life you live. Now finally she did go through it, and she was looking for affection for that. I'm going to give her affection, but this time I'm going to give it to her by standing away. She gave me too much anger in that and going through that, and was not necessary. So we're going to do it again, and you're going to have to get over it, over yourself. You're not coming into me. She's thinking. It's okay. Now she's having to do this all on her own, and it's much more difficult on her, so that's okay. We're actually starting to get somewhere here, even though it's still looking a little ugly. We're almost there. All this anxiety buildup has to kind of happen in order for this to get out. This buildup that she has in her is not just over this obstacle. This attitude is something that she has dealt with for some time in her life. And she thinks that she can dominate when she doesn't want to do something. And it's really not even over this obstacle. Got to try better. Okay, not walking through it as much this time, but we're going to give her a little bit of a break before we go to get on. But now she's starting to try a little bit more, give me a little bit more of her confidence here, and realize that it's not going to kill her. So this is very good. Again, we want to be able to get the horse through it all at a nice, calm, relaxed walk. But it's really important that once the horse starts to try, kind of get away from the obstacle and just kind of reward and say, you know what, you did give me a try. It wasn't where I wanted, but maybe we'll take a quick, 5-10 minute break and then try it again. And that's really important. It gives them time to think about it, time to soak, and it'll really help progress forward. So this is really good. So I will say, stay tuned. We're going to show you a second part of this on another episode. So really stay tuned to watch out for that. when that airs. So I really appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this will show you all some of the things that you might struggle or find out at home and even on a JPR, how to start working through it. So hopefully this helps you with you and your horse. And until next time, thanks for watching Advantage Horsemanship TV.